Good afternoon, YouTube. Hello, everybody on Facebook. How you guys doing today? It is a hot day. It's hot in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma today. We're getting record highs, 92 degrees. I'm glad I'm staying inside because that's too hot for BiggestRayRay. I don't like it when it's 92 degrees outside. I get sweaty sitting at the kitchen table eating a bowl of ice cream when it's 92 degrees outside today. So, hey, one good reason to stay inside during this quarantine because it's hot. But check this out. Next week, on like Tuesday, we're going to wake up in the morning and it's going to be 32 degrees outside. What gives Oklahoma weather? Another reason to stay inside besides the quarantine. But hey, enough about the weather. I'm excited. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week already. If you're at home working like I am and being a substitute homeschool teacher, this live stream is a much needed break from all the chaos. I look forward to it every day. Seeing all of you guys pop in from around the globe and saying hi. We're doing our part to bridge the gap with folks who might not have a way to communicate or socialize with people otherwise during quarantine. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Before we get too much farther, be sure to give this live stream a thumbs up. Share this with your family and friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you socialize on social media. So I'm excited today. I've got another guest on the show. Another YouTuber. She's been in the live streams a couple of times. She's a friend of mine. Her name is Whitney. She's got a fantastic channel called Whitney Sews. Be sure to look in the description of this live stream to click on her channel and watch her videos. Give her some thumbs up and be sure to subscribe if you're into her content. So Ricardo, already, man, I'm loving this. You guys have a bunch of comments already in the stream. I love that. Quarantine is always funny with Ray. Well, thank you so much for that. I certainly appreciate it. And Ray, did you really just talk about Oklahoma weather like it was supposed to make sense? I did, and it doesn't make sense. We have the best and the worst of all weather situations with the exception of, like tsunamis and hurricanes. We don't typically get those in Oklahoma. We get remnants of course, stuff that blows up through the Gulf of Mexico through Texas. But it never really makes sense here. So anyway, guys, without further ado, and I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Laura says it's 65 degrees there, and Fiesta says hi with the meow. So say hi to Fiesta for us. But anyway, guys, I'm going to bring Whitney on. I hope she's paying attention because she's just about to pop up on the screen here with everybody. Hey, there she is. So how are you doing today, Whitney?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
Best day ever.
That's what my kids like to say all the time.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because I woke up on the right side of the grass today.
That's always good.
Yes, it is. So we know you're also in Oklahoma. What's the weather like on your end of the state?
It is hot. I got out and walked a mile earlier today and I was done. It's up in like 88 degrees, somewhere around there, and I was not mentally prepared for that.
I know, right? It was beautiful. It was in the 60s yesterday. It was amazing.
Yeah. And
then this weird spike and then two cold fronts like back to back. And it's like, dude, Canada, what gives? I thought we were friends. Why are you sending this down to us here? But it looks like already you have a fan here, Whitney. Carmen, she covets your sewing machine.
Thank you. I do too. This is actually my mom's sewing machine that I'm borrowing right now because the motor went out on mine and I may just, keep it forever.
So I'm curious. I don't know anything about sewing machines other than that thing goes up and down really fast like a jackhammer. So what makes a motor burn out in a sewing machine?
Well, my machine that I was using was from the 60s, and it got to where the motor would actually spark when I was pushing on the pedal, and it got to the point where it wouldn't even do anything when I pushed the pedal. So I'd have to crank the hand wheel over here to get it to actually start. Like I had to jump start it basically, and I was afraid it was just going to go really bad. So my mom loaned me this machine until we could get the motor fixed on my other one.
Oh, right on. And forgive me, I don't know if you guys can hear Karma meow. She just came in the office and just started meowing, and I want to make sure she was okay. My goodness, cat. She's like, meow, meow. Over and over. It's like, wow. So she's a very spoiled cat, and when she doesn't get her way, she meows nonstop.
Nice.
So anyway, I was totally paying attention, but I had to see what's going on behind me here.
No, you're good.
So did this happen because you've been working extra hard lately, making masks and whatnot? Did it burn out as a result of that, or was it just regular use?
No, it had been sort of going out for like a year or so, but I just kept like plugging away with it. And then around Christmas time, I think it was, is when I finally said, no, I don't feel comfortable using this one anymore. And so my mom loaned me this machine, and she actually has an identical one to it. So we're using matching machines right now. So that's really cool.
Oh, right on. Yep. Now, with that, that's a Singer, right? That's the brand name?
Yes. Yeah, I'll see if I can turn it.
Oh, right on.
I can't turn it far enough. It's a Singer 201-2 from the early 50s.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yep.
So can you still find parts for those?
Yes, you can.
Wow,
so here's the manual. It's really cool looking. But yeah, you can find them at garage sales, different thrift stores, things like that. And then you can order replacements like on eBay and Amazon and stuff, like replacement parts for it and stuff.
Gotcha. So do you like fix your own sewing machine if you have to buy a part?
I call my mom and have her come help me.
There you go.
She enjoys that aspect of it more. I just like sewing really, really fast, which the old machine's sew faster than a lot of current machines. So I just like sewing fast. She enjoys the like maintenance side of things.
Gotcha. Oh, that makes sense. Now, and your husband, he's pretty crafty. Does he get into stuff like that as well, or is it just leave that more on your mom to work with?
Yeah, he does sew probably like one thing a year. So just enough that he can claim he's a sewer, but he doesn't do too much. But he did actually make a little like shirt for himself recently. It's kind of kimono style where it's meant to be worn open, and he made that just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, right on. Well, that's pretty cool. Like, I have zero craft ability. So like, I don't want to say I'm envious, but I think it's really cool when people can do that. I remember, I think it was my maybe 3rd or 4th grade. I was in elementary school, still living in California, and we had this assignment to cross stitch something for like a Christmas ornament, like the little X's. I know you know what I'm talking about. And I was the only one in my class that failed. I couldn't do it. Couldn't figure it out. Yeah, like the letter X is easy enough, but I just like the needle thing. Whenever I couldn't grasp the concept of that.
Yeah. Well, but I used to cross stitch, and it actually gave me anxiety. So
really, wow.
So it's not bad that you couldn't do it very good, because like I can make tons and tons of things, but cross stitch is like too much because you have to get it in that one itty bitty little hole, or it's not the right thing, and that's just too much for me. Yeah.
So thank you. I feel better not being the only one. So thank you so much for that. And we've got a couple of highs here in the room. We got our friend Iris visiting here from Italy. So thank you again, Iris, for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I know you know this guy, Tommy McGee is here.
Yeah. Tommy, I sent you a package on Monday, I believe it was. I sent him a mask for him and a mask for Carissa.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for doing that. So now that we're back on the subject of masks, I know that you're working on the side doing a project to make those. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. I was about a week into this quarantine thing, and I had been wanting to sew, but was like, I don't really know what to make. And then finally I was like, I'm going to make masks. I'm just going to do it. And I didn't really know like who to donate to or anything. And as soon as I posted saying, hey, I'm making masks, like people started coming out of the woodwork. And a friend of mine reached out to me and said she was talking to a local urgent care clinic, and they said, if you can get us 1,000 masks, we will use 1,000 masks. So my friend and I have been working toward making masks for them. And so far in about 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks, we have taken about 350 masks to them, just that the two of us have made. And so I decided, since so many people are trying to make masks and things right now, I would share some videos about it on my channel. They're not my typical like tutorials that I do, because like there's a lot of information out there on masks. Some say they're good, some say they're bad, some say this works better than that works, and you just don't really know what to follow. But I did the best I could based off of what the clinic requested of us and started sharing that information, and it has taken off, and that video is doing super, super well.
Oh,
what it is they requested just 2 layers of cotton for their mask. So I start out with just 2 layers of cotton like this, and I sew the top and bottom. Then I put some pleats in it, and it looks like this. And then I add the ties onto it, and somewhere, there it is. I add the ties, and that is really it. And you just tie it on to however tight you want it. I like the ties instead of elastic because they fit a lot more head sizes, because I have a small head. My husband has a really big head, and the same size mask fits both of us because of the ties. So it's more versatile. And then just this weekend, I started adding this onto it, which is just a ribbon with a pipe cleaner in it. And I left one side open so it can be taken out. And you just bend it, and it fits on your nose for a better fit.
Oh,
so,
that's super cool.
Yeah, I decided to try something out on Sunday and was like, I just want to see what works, and I did that, and I was like, oh, I love that, because then you don't get that air coming up right at your eyeballs when you're breathing.
Oh, yeah, that happens to me. So I got a mask from a neighbor, and I have that problem because it fits my face well. And I like my own. So I put a picture on my personal Facebook page a couple weeks ago, and it looks like a watermelon pattern.
Yeah.
And so it makes my whole face look like a giant melon, as if it doesn't already. But no, I get that when I breathe, it just hot air right into my irises.
Yeah.
And, my corneas are like, dude, that's enough. No moss.
Yeah. So I shared a video on that actually today on just the addition of the fitted nose piece. It can be done by machine or by hand after a mask is done. So if you have a piece of ribbon and a pipe cleaner, you can add that to your mask.
Man, that's a fantastic solution. I like that. So real quick, our friend Haley is back here. So hi, Haley. Hi. Thanks for tuning in from Sweden. I appreciate you. And our friend Albert here, he's from Pennsylvania. He asks, how can a person make a mask without access to a sewing machine?
There are lots of different videos and things floating around. I haven't done one myself, but I know some people are taking just a bandana and they're putting a paper towel inside of it, and then I believe tri-folding it. They get 2 hair elastics and put it on it, and then fold the ends over, and you have a no-sew mask. So if you just Google no-sew mask, there will be a few different options come up for you.
Right on. That's great information to have. So I'm glad you know about that stuff, because I would be completely useless in that regard. I wish I had some photos pulled up to just share on the screen here. But have you looked online at any of the creative things that people have come up with to wear for masks?
Yeah. I've seen some of the terrible people of Walmart style stuff,
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do, absolutely.
I've seen some of those. They are very interesting. But I actually saw one where it was just a pleated paper towel, and then they fold the ends over and staple rubber bands onto it. And I thought that was pretty clever for if you're just in an office and you have no resources other than a paper towel and rubber band and stapler. So I don't know how well it works, but I guess it's better than nothing.
I hope so. I'll keep my fingers crossed for them. I can appreciate the ingenuity.
Yeah.
But realistically, I don't know if that's going to keep anything out.
I don't know. I think it's just a matter of keeping your sneeze toward you and not toward other people.
Right. So I'm hoping that it's sad that we have to even say anything like this in 2020. But I'm hoping the level of couth and manners that people have kind of carry forward out of this.
Yeah.
Because, when we were a kid, we're about the same age. When we were kids, we were taught to cough and sneeze into our hands, which is disgusting. Now we sneeze into our elbow, right? So it's I'm glad to see people doing that. I wonder if the face mask thing will carry on beyond the pandemic, because when people sneeze, I don't want to walk around through those droplets.
Yeah.
And hand washing even, the common stuff that we all do, there's still enough people out there not doing that is disgusting. And so I'm hoping some of the things that the commercials we see on TV now, hey, remember to wash your hands, adult.
Yep. Are there actually commercials on TV for that?
Yeah, I've seen stuff on the television.
I don't watch actual TV. So I
Oh,
haven't seen
gotcha.
any of it.
Okay, I watch local news, and
Okay.
I like some stuff on the hit. I don't watch much, network television,
Mhm.
but I do see. I'm like, seriously, guys, we have to remind people to do this.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm just afraid that once all this is over, everyone will just be like so excited that they will forget all of it.
Yeah,
And just be right up in everyone's space and everything.
right. Because I kind of like this 6 foot. As much of an extrovert as I am, if I don't know you, at least arm length. I don't need to feel your breath on me when I'm picking out beanie weenies
Right.
at the grocery store.
Yeah, for sure. I'm an introvert, so I'm like, all y'all can just stay over there all the time.
Right. So yeah, let's see here. It's hard. So our friends, Carissa came in and said hi. Stephanie Carper popped in and said hello as well. And let's see, Laura, I had to wear a mask in my labs and PPE was horrible. All I did was sweat.
Mm-hmm.
So is this is just a dumb question? Is there? I guess it wouldn't make us. Could you put breathe holes in your mask? But that completely defeats the purpose if you do that.
Yeah.
So, is there any way to make it a mask more? I don't know.
Not that I know. I wore mine to the post office the other day, and I put it on before I left the house. I live I don't know, maybe 5 minutes from the post office, and I got there and it was packed, and I had to wait in line. And by the time I had waited in line and finally got to leave, I was like, I am done with this. I was so tired of wearing it. Just, I felt like I couldn't take quite as deep a breath as normal, but it could have just been mentally more than physically, because I wasn't used to wearing it. And so I don't know. I feel bad for the people who do have to wear them all day long at different jobs and things.
Oh yeah, like doctors and nurses, that they're
Mhm.
like 18-hour shifts in some places
Yeah.
I've seen, and I couldn't imagine having that on my face for the like. How do you eat or drink? I'm like, because once they gear up, I'm like, dude, is it worth the time and effort to take it off for lunch?
Yeah. I mean, I guess eventually you get more used to it than we are, having never worn them.
Right now, that makes sense. And with stuff like this, I like the solutions that people come up with in a time like this. I saw a news report the other night where I think like a 13 or 14-year-old kid had designed a little strap that goes on the back of someone's head.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see that?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and they had like the little clips on it to where you could wear a mask and adjust it to the back of their head. And he was able to 3D print those cost effectively and distribute them. And I
Mm-hmm.
even put the pattern online so other folks with 3D printers could take those and print them out. And I'm like, that's genius. And later on, once this is over, I think he's got something he can market and sell and make some legit income off of.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have several friends with 3D printers because they do a lot of cosplay stuff. And yeah, several of them posted today that they've got the plans and they are printing them and then they're selling them for cost, which is less than $1 for the supplies to buy the filament.
Right on.
So yeah, I think that's awesome. And I've also seen DIY versions where people are getting just like a piece of ribbon and they put a button on each end, and then you can hook the elastic onto the button behind the ears so that they're not rubbing on your ears if you have to wear them all day long.
That makes a lot of sense. I probably wouldn't have thought of that. Like, 'cause I don't have the craftiness for that sort of thing.
I wouldn't have thought of it either.
That's genius, though. I love to hear that.
Mhm.
People given the opportunity to excel oftentimes do that.
Mhm.
And I love to see that. I feel like there's more of the good people than there are the scammers and people that try to take advantage in a time like this. So I much rather hear those stories and talk about those than the knuckleheads, doing bad things.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but you mentioned cosplay,
Mhm.
and that's also something that you dive into pretty heavy, right?
Yes. I really enjoy doing costumes. Like making your own clothes is cool, but making your own costume is like extra cool, at least in my mind. So my husband and I and our kids, we go to a few different conventions every year. Actually, each year we go to more and more of them. And I think any convention, you get more out of it if you go in a costume. And that's because you can show off your fandom and other people can recognize the things that you are into. And more than likely, you're going to get a ton of compliments and people talking to you, and you can make a lot of friends doing that. And so each year I try to pick like one big costume to make and then a couple of other like quicker, smaller costumes to make. And yeah, I try to pick something that can kind of challenge my skills, where I can learn something new, try out some new things. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I've got one going right now where I'm kind of hardcore in the sense of I'm way too picky for my own good. And I couldn't find a trim for it that I was happy with. And so I decided to hand embroider this entire trim, and it took like 65 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm a little too much for myself. But actually, I forgot, it's sitting on my chair right here. I can show you.
Oh, that's awesome.
If I can keep from sitting on it. And all my repair projects are on my chair. So this trim right here is all hand sewn, and it's around the entire bottom of this skirt. That's like a really full skirt. Yeah, and that's like, you know, a minor part of this costume, but I was just like, why not? You know?
Wow, that's intense. 65 hours though. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, and that's just like on the embroidery part, not anything else.
So that's like hand, like one needle and just in and out over and over. Yep. Is that right? So forgive my ignorance. I know nothing about this stuff. So that's, wow. I'm really impressed by that. That's dedication.
Yeah, some people see it that way, or some people see it as being crazy. But it gave me something to do for a while that, you know, I was enjoying it, because I normally don't like hand sewing, but I actually really enjoyed this. So I'm glad that I did it, because I'm more likely to hand sew other projects now that I know, like, hey, it's not really as bad as I thought it would be.
Right on.
So, yeah, but that costume is on hold now to make masks, because the convention I was going to wear it to won't be taking place until next year now. So I have a whole extra year to make it even more awesome.
Right on. So can I ask what character that costume is for?
Yeah, it is from a game called Avalon Code. It is a Nintendo DS game that came out like 12 years ago or so, and the character's name is Francesca, and she runs a like magical gem store with her brother, like gem, like GEM, like stones.
Not like workout gym.
No.
But little gems. Okay, no, fair enough. Wow, that's really cool. So I've thought about doing cosplay. Like I'm not the biggest, like I'm a nerd in my own right. So my favorite character out of anything is Master Chief from the Halo series. Okay. I go, you know, all these little guys on my desk, and I would do him such a disservice if I put, because it'll be like Marshmallow Man meets superhuman futuristic warrior guy, and no one needs to see a Ray sized Master Chief floating around. Which is fun. I thought about maybe going like the Mountain, you know, from Game of Thrones. But
I've seen it.
all right, he's just a really big dude. He's just massive individual, or maybe just some like green spray paint and go as a fluffy Hulk. Maybe I don't know. But I've not found a character that I could do that with that I'm into. So also just you know, I'm not the only one that thinks that's crazy dedication. So good kind of crazy here. Good crazy. Yeah. So do you get into like quilting at all? Is that like a thing?
Yeah, I've done a few quilts in the past. It's not like my favorite kind of sewing, because it has to be more precise than a lot of the other things that I do. Like I have to be in just the right mood to quilt. But yeah, I do some quilting. I actually started my first quilt when I was 13, so 20 years ago. I had no idea what I was doing. That quilt is a disaster, but I did finish it, and I still own it. And I have improved a whole lot since then.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's cool though. It's one of those things you know, in this part of the country, like when you drive around, there's like a lot of those like country quilt stores that you go to, and I see them, and I'm like, it's not something I'm just going to go buy, but I see it, and I see the value in it, because I understand the time commitment. But it takes a special kind of person, I think, to sit down and just, you know, over and over do that. And so for me, I appreciate it. But Albert has a question for you. So will you work on it for 130 hours since you have double the time?
The whole costume is probably going to take somewhere in the neighborhood of like 500 hours. So, yeah. There is 3 bags. I have one of them up here. Let me see if I can reach it. So here is one of the bags that I made.
Wow.
This is what the fabric looked like. And I, what's called fussy cut. So I centered the design in each diamond and cut it out and alternated front, back, and pieced it back together. And then sewed it together and then added the little closure. It's a functioning bag. So this string's just on here to hang it. But and then this big tassel on the end that I made out of yarn. It's like this velvety textured yarn. Yeah, so she has 3 bags, a hat, a wig that I'll have to style, a shirt, a vest, and 2 skirts. And I think that's it. I think. Yeah.
That's all. So, nothing else.
So there is a ton of pieces. And so far I've made the bag and the skirt. And I've patterned one of the other bags. And I've patterned the hat. And that is it. So I have a lot to go.
That's like I'm like super impressed with that. You know, Albert guys in the quote, he's like, wow, I can. And so I could see him saying that really loud, like in his home wherever he's at, typing that. So I had the opportunity to be interviewed by Albert on a show he does in Pennsylvania. I was able to join remotely, and he you know, East Coast got that big booming voice, just so I could see him be like, wow. I could see Albert doing something exactly like that. So I'm not picking on you, my friend, but I could totally visualize that. So, but that's good stuff. And Iris, or you're not Iris, but Iris. I'm sorry, Iris. She said that's real passion, and that's super cool when you see somebody get into their craft and just, you know, work it like that. And absolutely love that. I think that's something a lot of folks are missing in life nowadays. So again, kudos to you for just doing what you love and diving all into it.
Thank you.
So really random question for you here.
Okay.
What is the best snack to consume while you're mad sewing on something like that? Because I'm thinking Cheetos are a bad idea.
Yeah, Cheetos are a bad idea. Anything with a lot of crumbs is bad. I usually don't eat while I sew. I take a break and eat something and then come back, because I tend to like spill things, and I would be so mad at myself if I spilled something on what I was working on.
Right, I could totally see that. Yeah, so if you do break away to get a snack, what's your go-to?
It depends on the time of day. Because like in the evening, I usually go for like graham crackers dipped in milk or cereal. Earlier in the day, probably something more like salty. Just depends.
Just depends, because I was almost hoping, and just out of curiosity, like your character from the DS game, I'm like, what would she eat? And then go for a snack that your character would be after.
I honestly don't know, because I will admit I have not played the game.
Oh, wow. So how did you get turned on to this character then?
I came across an image of the character on Pinterest about 1.5 years ago and had saved it because I was just like, oh, that looks really cool, but I have no idea what it's from. It was just like on a random website with 200 pictures of other characters. And they were all from like different movies, different games, all kinds of stuff. And so I had no idea. Then this January, I was trying to pick my big costume for the year. And I kept looking back at that picture and just like, I love this design. I love the colors, but I don't know the character. And so I figured out how to do a reverse image search, because I finally came into the, 2000s and figured that out. And I was like, oh, it's from a game. And so I like looked up some info about the game and was like, okay, it kind of looks cool, and I just went with it. Some people discourage cosplaying characters that you don't know. But other people are like, hey, if you like what they're wearing, go for it, because you're going to enjoy making it. And if you're if you're not into what they're wearing, then you're gonna, dread working on it. So since I was so excited about the colors and the, the accessories and everything, I was like, yes, I'm excited. I want to do it. And so I went for it.
Right on. No, that's good stuff. Who is that? I just heard my door open. I can only imagine it's Dawn. I think she's the only one in the house other than me right now.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi.
Are you having fun today, kiddo?
Yes.
Yeah? What have you been working on today?
Some schoolwork.
Oh, some schoolwork? Oh, that's fun. So now, tell me if this is a bad question. Are your kids home from school right now, or do you homeschool otherwise?
We homeschool.
Okay, so no change for you then with the pandemic.
Nope. The only thing that's changed is my husband's working from home, and our church group and dance class is canceled. So.
Gotcha. So what advice, because I am on day 3 of being a substitute homeschool teacher, which is a whole new challenge, with the day job and the YouTube stuff and a podcast. And now I'm teaching her. So I built a spreadsheet so I can track and manage her daily activities, because they sent an email with a bunch of different stuff on it. I'm like, I don't know how to manage all this. So I put it in the spreadsheet, whatever. That's great. But what advice do you have for people that are in the boat I'm in right now, since this is your day to day?
Yeah, I would just say, don't stress out about it, because some days I'll have a ton of stuff planned and they just won't be feeling it, or they'll be cranky or something. And when that happens, I'm like, I'm not going to push it, because they're not going to learn it. They're not going to want to learn if they're in a bad mood, and I'm just forcing them to do it. So that's my go-to, is if they're not doing it that day, then we just will take a break. Also, if you're having difficulties with something not clicking or something like that, try taking a break and playing a game. It doesn't have to be just any old game. You can do a learning game even. One that we really love is playing War. I take all the face cards out of a deck of cards, and then we play War. And it's a great way to teach greater than and less than. Because I have my kids say, I'm like, okay, which one's bigger? Which one's the greater number? And they have to figure it out every time. And so they don't even realize that they're learning anything, but they are. And they have so much fun playing the game that afterwards we can retry whatever it is I was trying to teach them before, because they're more willing to do it now that they've had a chance to play.
Right.
Even though they were playing something while learning,
Oh, that makes so much sense. Oh gosh, don't be no, I wouldn't do that, kiddo. That could be bad. So our friend Haley's saying good night. So good night, Haley. Have a great night. Can you say good night, Haley?
Good night, Haley.
Yay. So she's tuning in again from Sweden. I know it's really late over there. I think they're 6 hours ahead of us here in the central time zone. So, and Dawn, you're gonna fall down backwards if you're not careful, kid. Daddy, that's my name. Oh, do your kids climb on you like this when you're making videos, Whitney?
Not while I'm making videos, because I usually try to do it when they're in bed, but all the rest of the time they do.
Oh, right on. So yeah, I swear she does this to me all day, and I'll be on a conference call. I'll be dealing with some stuff. It's just coming to my Dawn, I right now I wear a headset and everything, and she knows when it's on. She's supposed to leave me alone. She can come in the office, whatever. Just has to be quiet. But invariably, if she's not in the office, she'll barge in when I'm in the middle of a meeting. So I mean, it is what it is. You get used to it. Yeah. And in my industry, a lot of us are teleworkers anyway, so it's just we all hear each other's dogs, cats, kids, anything else that's going on.
People understand.
Yeah, it is what it is. So Dawn, our friend Laura says hi. Can you say hi, Laura?
Hi, Laura.
Yay! So that's good stuff. So guys, while we're here, I'm seeing a lot of comments, filter through. If you guys have any questions for Whitney about cosplay or sewing or matchmaking, please absolutely drop that comment. We'll field those as best we can as they come in. I admit when the comments are screaming by, I miss a lot of those, so please don't take it personally. It's when they're going by fast, they go by. So it looks very different for us on this side of the screen than it does for y'all, I promise. And also, I don't know if you saw this, Whitney. Our friend Ricardo said that is a masterpiece.
Aw, thank you.
So I think that popped in about the time you were showing the little bag. And that does look really cool, actually. And that's pretty legit. And the thing that you made, did you find a pattern, or did you just fashion that on your own?
No, so what I did, I was just gonna do this fabric, and then of course I got too picky. But I bought a coin purse at Goodwill for like $2, and it had the clasp on it. And so I just like carefully removed the clasp and used the top of the coin purse for the pattern, and then I just drafted the rest of the pattern myself from that.
Ah,
yeah,
that's a great idea.
And so for like the front, I pieced together a like really big square of fabric and then put my pattern on it to figure out exactly where to cut it to get the best use of the fabric and make sure it was lined up and everything, and then just acted as though this stuff was one piece of fabric. Yeah. So I usually come up with my own patterns unless it is clothing, and then I will start with a ready-made pattern and just alter it however I need.
Oh, right on. So I like that. And are you seeing the question up on the screen right now, Whitney?
Yeah, the best or favorite cosplay costume. Do you mean one that I've made so far? If so, it was probably my Miss Frizzle costume. I bought a red curly wig to do a casual Merida from the movie Brave, and I received it in the mail, and it looked terrible. It was so bad, and I was like, there's no saving this, like nothing. And then I thought, you know what, maybe if I put it in an updo. And so I put it in a bun and was like, oh my goodness, I look like Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus. And so the week before a convention, I was like, I'm doing this. And I went to Walmart and I found some fabric that was supposed to be like outdoor furniture fabric, but it was light enough weight that I could use it for clothing. And it had really big cactuses on it. So the print was like this big of cactuses all over the fabric. And I was like, that's pretty Miss Frizzle. Oh. And so I made a skirt and wore the wig and everything. And I carried around, my kids have, you know, the little people toys. My kids have a school bus for their little people toys. And so I carried that around at the convention as my Magic School Bus. And it was a lot of
awesome. Man, I love that. I love the book when I was in elementary school, and then the show even on PBS when I was a kid. I totally love that. So that's awesome. You made a Miss Frizzle.
Thank you. It's on Netflix now. You can watch the old show and the reboot of it with her like sister or cousin or I don't know, something.
Wow, I didn't know about that one even. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. To see if I can find that and cue it up for the kiddo here.
Dad,
what?
I thought with my toys.
No, we're not talking about toys though. We're talking about shows. You should be happy we're trying to find you new shows to watch, you turd. Daddy. Everything now is daddy, good, better, otherwise. I'm sure your kids are similar age. Do you get that a lot from them?
Yeah. Yeah. Mom.
So also this came up for you, Whitney. Do you sell your stuff at craft shows?
No, I don't. Because I typically don't enjoy making the same thing over and over and over again, which is kind of what you need to do for having enough supply for a craft show. So I usually just make one or two of a certain item, do tutorial on it, and then I'm moving on to the next thing, except for like the costumes, which I don't do tutorials on typically because I'm kind of figuring out as I go. But making these masks, that's probably the most of a single item I've ever made in my entire life.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, 200 plus of those, that's a big deal.
Yeah. I'm at, let's see, 271 finished.
Wow, that's incredible. That's definitely a lot.
Yeah.
So Whitney, I did this to Carissa, Carissa Lee. She's on right now. I did this to her the other day, and I put her on the spot. Are you a singer? And if so, do you have a random song to just bust out for us?
I can sing. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's see. You should have warned me.
It's no fun if you do that.
No, I can't think of a song right now that I could sing.
Oh, darn.
My go-to is like The Greatest Showman on like the loudest volume in the world,
Right? So that's I am not a musical person. I don't get into those kind of movies, but The Greatest Showman is fantastic. I was totally into that. I've seen it several times. And I'm just like, this is probably the most legit thing I've seen in that realm, especially with Hugh Jackman. Who'd have thought
I know, right?
That
Well, I knew Hugh Jackman could sing because he was in the movie Oklahoma.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I used to work at a place where they performed Oklahoma every night, and so I have a special spot in my heart for that musical, and I had seen him.
Now, there's karma.
So I had seen him in the movie version of it, and so I knew he could sing, but you know, a lot of people didn't, so it was surprising to them.
Right on. Yeah, I was just like, wow, this Wolverine guy. That's incredible. Hey, Don, that's be really loud on the microphone, honey. Let's not do that, okay?
I really want to do costumes from The Greatest Showman as well, but I wasn't brave enough to do them this year because I want to do the purple outfit that Anne wears, the aerialist girl, and then and then Zac Efron's character. I want to do his costume for my husband.
Oh, that would be super cool.
Yeah. I need some more practice on tailoring first.
Oh, here you go. Whitney, sing the Reading Rainbow song. You've been challenged.
I don't even know the Reading Rainbow song. It's in a book. Take a look. Reading Rainbow. That's all I know of it.
I can go anywhere.
I never really watched Reading Rainbow as a kid. I didn't have a TV when I was little, so I missed out on a lot of stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha. It's like I'm not a singer. I do it, but it's nothing I'm good at. But it's fun every once in a while to make a joyful noise.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So, how much are you letting anybody buy your masks or order them? Or are these all going to a medical facility locally where you're at?
They are all being donated locally to the urgent care clinic, and then to different like friends of mine that reach out to me who I can like personally meet up with them or drop them on their porch or whatever. That's all I'm doing so far, just because of like the quantities and stuff that I've already been asked to make. I'm not taking on additional requests right now. There are some groups on Facebook and stuff though where you can join and request a mask if you need one. I don't have any like the links in front of me. I know there's one for Oklahoma that a fellow Tulsa YouTuber started. I don't even have the link for that though. I'm sorry.
No, and if it's a person that you're thinking of, and she was just on the local news last night.
Yes, same person.
For her effort. And when she first started doing it, she was keeping it small just because it's her husband and their 2 kids that were doing it. And she wound up making 100 or so masks. Even me, wifey, and Dawn got our masks from her. I mean, we live literally across the street from each other.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
No, excuse me. Yeah, whenever we bought our house where we're at now, in July of last year, we had showed up with the realtor the day the house listed. And where I had been to her house before to visit and do other things, I was just following GPS. I didn't realize I was across the street from her. And we got here with the realtor, and she gets out of the car. And she's like, "Ray?" And I was like, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing here?" And she's like, "This is my house." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're right. I'm about to buy this one."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it was cool to move into a neighborhood with somebody that I knew already, and was also a YouTuber. Mm-hmm. And so it works out great. Their kids wind up watching Dawn for me a lot. I travel a lot for my day job, and so that's a pretty cool deal. I already had somebody that I could trust with Dawn. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, they started to GoFundMe. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but they started to GoFundMe. She's got more folks in the Tulsa area that are stepping in to help craft these masks, and they're taking money on to get orders to procure more materials so they can keep going with the effort.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So another question on the masking again, is it hard to find the materials to make these?
It kind of depends. I was fortunate that a lot of my viewers had given me, well, not a lot. A few viewers had given me fabric in the past. Like they said, "Hey, I'm not using this anymore. Can I mail it to you?" Or there was a couple of local people who said, "I have a lot of fabric. I'm downsizing. Do you want it?" And so I was like, "Yeah, So most of that I still had not used. And so when all of this rolled around, I started digging through all of that fabric. And so I did the math last night. I've used like almost 50 yards of fabric so far. And at least 35 yards of that came from my own home. And then two of my friends have given fabric to me since I started doing this. And then as for other people making them, if they're using elastic, I know that is hard to get a hold of right now for the over-the-ear thing. I am using what's called bias binding, and it looks like this. It is a piece of fabric cut on the 45-degree angle, so it has a slight stretch to it. And it's ironed with the edges over and then ironed in half. And I use that to bind the edges of the mask, and then it continues down to be the ties. So I didn't have very much of that in my stash, and so I've been buying rolls of it off of Amazon, and I have bought, I think, 20 rolls so far. More came in the mail today. So I'm doing that out of pocket myself, and then a few people have donated to help out, but still most of it's out of my pocket. But I'm just doing it because I'm at home. I get to be at home and be safe, while other people are still having to be out there doing their jobs, doing, working in hospitals, working in whatever situation. And so this, to me, this is the least I can do, is buy rolls of bias binding so I can keep making masks to help people to hopefully get this over with quicker. So yeah, so my friend and I, though, that are making for the clinic, we keep buying out the supply from Amazon. So the ladies had to resupply like 3 or 4 times since we started purchasing this.
That's crazy, but no, that's fantastic. Again, thank you for doing that. You're probably literally saving people's lives. Direct impact on the planet here, and doing something fantastic. So I certainly appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. And like I said,
I'm sure you hear that a lot.
Sorry, like I said, a few people have donated, and I am very appreciative of that. So yeah, I keep telling people they're free, and then people are like, no, I want to give you something. I'm like, you really don't have to, but yeah, so I just wanted to, it's not 100% me covering the cost of this. I just wanted to point that out,
So all assets were on the topic. I brought this up, not you. If somebody wanted to donate to your efforts, do you have like a Patreon account or anything like that, or something that's already out there and available that we could point folks to help you in your effort?
Yeah, I do have a PayPal link that I can share. I don't like sharing it that often because I don't want people to feel like I'm like, oh, send me money, because I'm like, no, don't. Right. But I do have one that I could give you if you wanted it. Okay, and
that's available on your YouTube page or somewhere?
No, I don't share it around that much.
Oh, okay. No, that's fair. And so, like I said, if it's not out there and available already, I don't want to blast something out there that's not already, readily available for folks. I was gonna say, if you had something, we could, put in the link in the description below, or point them to your channel, which is already linked in the description.
Yeah. I sent it to you on the private side.
Okay.
If you want to share it. But yeah, I mean, to me, the biggest way people can support is just like sharing my videos and stuff like that. I think that's a really great way to support. Or I always do the Amazon affiliate links. So if someone buys like a supply for themselves, if they go through my link, I earn a percentage for referring them. And so that's my favorite way, because it's not any extra cost to the person. They're still getting something that they needed, and without any extra cost, they're still helping out what I'm doing. So that's my preferred way for people to help.
Okay, no, that's fantastic. No, I like that a lot. So yeah, I'm going to ask everybody, definitely go to Whitney's channel. Again, it's linked in the description down below. Watch her tutorials on how to make the masks, and share that on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just wherever, and get the word out. And then if you're into sewing and you buy stuff as well, absolutely click on one of her affiliate links. I use those as well. I put them in every video, except for the live streams. And it's crazy sometimes the stuff that I've put on that people wind up buying. And it's great. You never know, right? The power of suggestion. I guess that's like call folks on YouTubers influencers. I don't think I have a big enough following to influence anybody, but hopefully I do. Hopefully I make an impact. But you've got quite a following. And so you've been at this a lot longer than I have, but you do a great job.
Thank you.
So I like telling this story about the power. And I've even told this to you, personally, where I'm not into sewing. Really, that's not my thing. I watch Whitney's videos to better myself in how I present myself on the screen and how I talk. You have a background, I think, in broadcasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so your diction, the dictation, you dictate things. No, diction is really well and clear. I'm like, man, I want to present myself more like Whitney. And so it's crazy the things that you can pull and take away from somebody else when they're good at what they do. And so even where our content doesn't necessarily align, I find a lot of value in how you present yourself in your videos. So thought I'd throw that out there as well. I'd like to share that. So definitely, yeah, please look at her stuff, share it. Let's get the word out on how to make these awesome masks. And I really like the nose thing. That's very, very creative.
Yeah, I like that too, because the other way it was just drying my contacts out, without the fitted nose.
Right. And so here's a question: how many masks do you get from a yard of fabric?
I can get. Let me do the math really quick. Oh, I forgot. Hang on. I believe it's 8 from one yard, sometimes as much as 12 in a yard, depending on the width of the fabric. And that's because the clinic requested that we start doing 3 pleats instead of 2 pleats in them, which takes more height out of the fabric. I was getting more than that out of a yard, but since I'm doing the bigger size now, it cuts down how many I can do. If that makes sense.
No, it does require more fabric to make the extra little foldy things, the pleats, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I don't actually measure it out typically. I get the fabric and I fold it in half like it comes off the bolt. And then I fold the other end over to it. So I'm cutting through 4 layers at a time. And I just cut row after row after row until I'm out of fabric. And so that's why the other day I had to really do a lot of math to try to figure out how many yards I used.
Wow.
And then I subcut all of those strips down into the right size chunks for the mask. And if she was wondering why it was such a high number of yardage and I've only made 271 so far, it's because I have all the pieces cut out and ready to go for over 100 more masks. And I was calculating that into what I've used so far because they're already cut.
Wow, that's a lot of masks.
I have a big pile right here I was working on right as the stream came on.
Right on. That's because I was just plugging away at it.
Yeah.
And this is something I don't have a link, but do you have a link where people can go out and buy a mask from folks like yourself that are crafting these?
I don't. All the people I know who are making them are just giving them away to people who they know or local clinics and stuff. So sorry.
Right on. No, that's fine. So I think if you do a search maybe on Facebook, there's a lot of groups that are popping up, and you might just do a search in your local area on Facebook for people that are doing the same thing. I know this isn't local to just Oklahoma. I'm sure plenty of other folks are doing something similar where they live.
Mm-hmm.
So Whitney, we are encroaching, and the conversation goes by. Time flies when you're having fun. We're coming up on 54 minutes here.
Wow.
Do you have any final thoughts or anything for the people before we look to wrap up today?
We didn't get around to talking about food other than snacks.
No, we really didn't. So let's.
I'm just kidding.
So okay. What are you making what's going on at the Whitney So's house tonight for dinner?
Actually, my husband's probably going to cook tonight. He's just going to make spaghetti.
You say spaghetti, nothing special. Yeah, spaghetti's great. That's a solid dinner time thing.
Yep.
So I pulled a steak out of the deep freeze tonight, and mind you, the steaks I get my Kansas City strips custom cut, and I get them 2 inches thick. So just a chunk of meat on my plate. But one of those feeds me, wifey, and Dawn. So I have that. I'm gonna make some mashed potatoes out of some Yukon potatoes, and then I have some green beans with that, and probably a croissant.
Nice.
Because all those powers combined, just.
Yep, that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
We are trying to not go to the grocery store for at least another week, and we're out of like everything fresh.
Oh no.
So we don't mind. We have plenty of like canned and stuff. So we're just trying to like not eat all of the like really good stuff up front and then be stuck eating like, you know, spaghetti sauce over rice at the end of the week.
Right. So no, yeah,
but you know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's hard to because it's so different than what we're accustomed to in America. You know, we go buy for the week and then go out and get more. You know, get the milk or egg just kind of as you need to. And we really had to think how we're going to shop as a result of that.
Yeah,
because we're doing our best to go into public as little as possible. And so it's we've had to rethink things quite a bit, which is not bad. It's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, and I mean it helps you be more creative too.
It does, yes. it does force a new level of creativity.
I have a random can of who knows what. Let's see what we can do with it.
Right. So I like that. You know, Chris and I we're launching a YouTube channel soon with cooking videos. So I just built the channel last night. I got it up and set up. Got the email. And you know what it is to make a YouTube channel. And so I'm working on the videos now. Chris is getting some videos on our live stream Saturday. We're both making a corn turkey and presenting recipes. Like we're both cooking it very differently and to try to give people as diverse amount of ideas as possible. What's your favorite random turkey thing to make with leftovers?
I don't love turkey. So I tend to use the leftovers as I would chicken in like a casserole or a soup. Or like I make like a soup or a casserole and just like chop it up and put it in there so I can pretend it's chicken.
There you go.
So I don't do like a lot of people do like turkey sandwiches or like where turkey's like featured. And I'm like, let's hide it. Let's hide it somewhere.
Hide the turkey. Yeah. Oh, that's good stuff. So check this out, Whitney. Your passion has inspired Ricardo.
Aww, that's awesome.
That's good stuff. So I hear someone behind me and a cat. Hey, it's Wifey.
Hello.
Wifey, here, come up here where they can see. You're like all in the background there.
Hello.
So hi, Wifey.
Hi.
So this is Whitney. I don't think you guys have met in person, have you?
I don't think so.
So this is Whitney from the Whitney Sews channel. This is Wifey back here. So just got home from work, and Karma Kitty meows and meows at her whenever she comes in from work. So I don't know if you guys can hear her through the mic, but she is going off right now. And my buddy Mike just popped in. So we've been best friends for over 20 years. We co-host a podcast together.
Cool.
And Albert says, have a great dinner, both of you. So I will. I hope you have a great dinner as well, man. So I hope everybody has a great dinner. So, but anyway, Whitney, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. With fantastic conversation. So I'm going to push a button. You're going to drop off the screen here. So if you need to head out, you can absolutely do that. So thank you again, and I will talk to you soon, my friend.
Bye.
Bye.
So, all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate each and every one of you being here, hanging out, doing what we can to bridge the gap with folks that might not have a way to communicate or socialize with people while we're all in quarantine. If you're a member of the Ray Ray family, I say it literally every live stream, every edited video. I love you guys. I appreciate you being here. You guys motivate me to keep doing what I'm doing, and it means the world to me. If you're brand new to this channel, my wife is throwing food at me. Yay, little gummy bunny. If you're brand new to this channel, I want to invite you to the Ray Ray family. All you got to do is hit that red subscribe button and be sure to click the notification bell so you get a pop-up every time I post a new video. And remember to always be biggest. Be what makes somebody else's day great. Stay safe, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Good night.